The next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be transferring the switches from my original steering wheel, these switches, over to my new steering wheel. So it's pretty simple, I think. All I'm going to do is take out a couple screws. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws right here. Phillips head screwdriver. All 4 screws are out. Now, next thing, before you go trying to pry these out right here, you got to disconnect a few things so we can get this apart. So it'll come out with the, so these will all just kind of slide apart. So what I need to do first is get a small pocket screwdriver. What we can do here is you have, this needs to be unplugged, this yellow piece. I'm sorry, the red and the black wire needs to come out. So I just kind of come in on each side of this thing, and you're going to lift up. And that'll unplug. This one here at the bottom, there's a clip on either side. There's one there. I don't know if we can see that or not. Let's see if I can zoom in. I'm zoomed in as good as I can get. It's getting a little fuzzy here. All right, there's a clip here and a clip here. So you kind of got to lift up and it'll kind of pop out. So those two are out. That goes to that big connector we unplugged earlier. You can see this. So this goes over to this side. So we have those two. So this switch could pop out. Now, what holds this in are these two, the screws on each side. Let me back this off. All right, what holds these switches in, it's kind of weird. This will want to come up, but then you also need to lift this up at the same time. And this is kind of held in kind of tight here. Okay, that's starting to come up. So it's pulled straight up. Now this is kind of delicate right here. You need to kind of lift up to lift this. It's like it's like a Christmas tree kind of holding it into the wheel on this side. Okay, it should be out. What I'm talking about is this. This little thing buries itself down into this little part of the wheel. So this side's up. I'm leaving this all connected. So now I want to pull this side up. What I'll end up doing here, since I'm not changing these switches, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this side while I'm at it. So I'm going to come in here and lift up, and this is out. This is your switch. This goes to your switch behind your steering wheel. So this side's loose. I can go ahead and do this right now so I don't have to mess with it. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. For the switch behind it, pull back on that little tab right there, lift straight up. That's out. Now I can lift this up a little bit to kind of get it coming loose. And then you got to lift up on this to get the little Christmas tree out. Flip this around so you can see it. Kind of go underneath here a little bit. All right, and there it is again. There's that little barb that goes down into the hole of the wheel. Now I've got cut my switches out. Pretty simple. Now I'm going to be putting the switches back in, my original switches back into the steering column. So I'm just going to lay these across from each other. So I'm going to start this, kind of start this bottom piece in first, kind of roll it in. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm lined up in that little hole right there. For that little barb piece to go back in here, I'm going to push it down in here. Okay, that one's in. Same on this side. I'm gonna start it down here on the bottom. Start this bottom side in. Make sure these wires are out of my way when I pinch them. So that's down. Push it down a little bit. Make sure the barb, this barb piece right here, starts. Make sure it's down all the way. I got my wires crossed. Move these back. These getting crossed up. All right. All right, once those are down in there, I'm going to go ahead and let's start plugging in. So plug this one back in. This kind of goes down like this. I don't know if you can see this. Let's get down there tight. And this goes back. Pliers. This thing needs to go back in like this. Hopefully you can see this. So that's in. That's for the rear switch. And then, I mean, the switch back here, that wire runs over to this side. And you want to kind of run this thing back under this little tab sticking out. I guess that keeps the wire from interfering with the airbag. And well, I guess we'll do this side. Oop, I lost my tripod. We'll do this side now. Same thing. Probably have to use pliers again. Get that thing close. Push it in, it's clipped in. Same thing with this one. Run it underneath this clip over here. All right, we're safe. All right, those two are in. Now, the bottom one, this one right here, this one, see if I can see the bottom of it. This we're gonna take, see if I can zoom in a little better. These two, let's plug this one in first, the big one. That was pretty easy. Didn't mean to push that out like that. And then the red and black one, there's two spots for it. Put it in the one closest to the big connector. So 1, 2, this one right in the middle. So you'll see it here in a minute when I plug it in. Red and black goes right here. Good thing about the video, if you forget, you can always go back and look. Having a hard time here, getting that thing's kind of bent. There we go. This tripod's in the way. Hopefully you can, okay, I've got that pushed in. Clip. Make sure everything's pushed in nice and good. Make sure your locks are in. I'm going to zoom back out. All right, so my switches are back in. That wasn't too hateful. Now I'm going to put the screws in these little goofy little clips. So these just kind of hang down and hold these wires. So all I'm going to do is start up here on the top, all the way down, hopefully. Screws are in, clips are keeping the wires in. Those two clips are pretty obvious. They hold that ribbon, sorry, hold these two ribbon wire, hold that ribbon wire in. So we're all set there. Forgot to show you guys something. When you are taking the airbag out, when you put your screwdriver in, what you want to do is you want to go push it toward the column, and then you want to, you'll feel a little, there's like a spring in there. And when you do that, what you're moving is this right here. I'll try to move it while we're trying to video this thing. Let me put the screwdriver in the back. All right, so what I'm moving here, let me zoom in real tight. Remember those spikes that run the end of the, what you're looking at here. You see that spring moving? This spring right here, it's just a spring, and when you hit that screwdriver on it, all you're doing is moving that spring away from those those two ends on the airbag. So once you do that, you pull back, airbag releases. So that's kind of what you're doing, and here's the one on the other side. See if I can zoom in on that too. See the spring in the middle? So all you're doing is moving that spring out of the way. All right, switch is in now. We're going to put it back in the car.